Let me start. Can anybody guess what could be the topic?
Life related.
Everything is life related only.
Human psychology.
Human psychology.
How to start
How
a
to
day in
stay
positive things.
focused. Quantum.
Okay, let's see.
Procrastination.
Who's that?
That was reason.
Ratnashri. Okay, fine. Let's see. I too don't know. Okay. So you can't say anything high here. I kept a lot of blank. Okay, then let me start the presentation. Let me arrange your videos. Guys, open your notes and please mute yourself. Don't speak in between. And sometimes I may ask some questions and don't get distracted and immediately mute yourself. That's my sincere request from my end. Okay, then let's move. The topic is habits, but we have already discussed that. Something else is going to be there. What is that something else? Is the science of making habits. Okay, so what exactly the science and the psychology and neuroscience, everything behind how exactly habits can be formed and how we should maintain good habits, I will be telling today. And I'll be revealing so many of my secrets, whatever the secrets which I have had in my life. And through this session, I'll be giving a lot of things what I do in my life to maintain my habits in my day-to-day life, and what helped me so much to reach to this level, I will tell you today. Okay, so give your full attention. So much of amazing things you will be learning today, and this will definitely help you to change your entire life, whatever the habit which you are going to habituate in your life. This concept, whatever I'm going to share, will be completely useful for you for your rest of your life. Remember these concepts, remember this knowledge, and it will be definitely useful for you in a lot of areas. Okay, so wait till the end of the presentation, then I'll give you complete overall picture. And in between, you may be distracted and sometimes you may not understand what I'm trying to speak, but I have some patience. By the end of the last slide, I'll make everything clear for you. Okay, so let's start then. My question to you, how long it takes to form an habit?
21 days.
Depends on
21 days.
21 days.
21 days.
21 days.
21 days. That was the most of the people
In psychology,
have
66 days.
given us. Okay, so
One.
let's see what exactly the real number could be, and I'll tell you what exactly the answer is. So it takes 18 days to 254 days on average. And there was a study conducted by one psychologist. And then what he did was he conducted a study by taking group of people. There he wanted to inculcate one habit. The habit is after dinner going for walk, having some around 10-15 minutes of walk. And to create that one habit in people, based on the situations, it took 18 days to 254 days. Some people have learned within 18 days only this habit, but some people have learned it by taking 254 days maximum. So think of, it's a simple habit. After eating dinner, going for walk, this habit they have conducted psychology test, and in that they found out that people have taken, some people have 254 days. Why some people learn the habit very quickly and why some people take longer time to get that habit, we'll be seeing today. What makes a person to person differentiated, and what we can do in our life so that we can quickly adapt to lot of habits in our life. So as you know that last time also I have given the presentation on habits, and habits are everything for life. If you really wanted to have a great life or successful life, or if you wanted to have unhealthy life, anything, whatever the life, good or bad, most of the time your entire life depends on your habits, what you do in your day-to-day life. So in that case, there are so many times people always wanted to have very good habits in their life, but they always fail to have good habits. And what could be the reason is the mystery behind, the secret behind the habit formation, we'll see today. And what exactly is that? is your limbic friction. So this is one thing you have to conquer. I will tell you what is limbic friction. Limbic friction, I'll tell you with an example. Today morning, you wanted to wake up at 5 o'clock. You wanted to wake up at 5 o'clock. And then somewhere in your mind started saying that just sleep for 10 more minutes or just sleep for 30 more minutes. And you know that if you wake up early, you can do something better, but still your mind is asking you to do something, not asking you to do something else instead of doing something important for you. So that inner voice, whatever comes as a limbic, we have a limbic brain which I have explained in brain anatomy. Please go and watch that video. That's what I said, some of the videos which I have already taken. And if I explain everything here, then the presentation will go for nearly 3 4 hours. That's why I will tell you the references where you can find more information about this. But just think of, there is a brain in your brain structure. There is a small area in your brain structure that is called limbic brain. That brain always wanted something very fun and pleasure in every time. And in this case, when you wanted to do something good habits in your life, then you have to overcome that limbic friction. And in my case, suppose if I wanted to wake up at 4:30, I can wake up at 4:30 without any problem. But there are sometimes there are some people fail to do that. What is the big difference between me and those people is, in my life I have a very less friction to do some good habits. In other people's life, they have a very big friction, very big resistance in their life to do. So this one limbic friction is something always will be there in every new habit. Whenever you wanted to do something new, very important activity, this limbic friction concept comes into the picture. So what exactly the limbic friction is? The activation energy are the efforts which required for you to take the action. Okay, the efforts whatever you are going to put to take the action is called a limbic friction. If the efforts are more, means you have to motivate yourself so much to read the book, but there is no motivation required for you to use the mobile, because while using your mobile there is a very less limbic friction. But when it comes to certain habits in your life, there is so much of limbic friction. With that friction, you always postpone your activities, so you will always procrastinate your activities. And how we can reduce this limbic friction? I said, if you can conquer this one friction in your life, then automatically you can adapt so many great habits. And the habits which I follow in my life are the dream habits for so many people to live in their lives. So how you can make those habits and how you can inculcate those habits in your life? By reducing this limbic friction, the friction, how you can reduce the friction so that you can able to do your habits very consistently. So let's see. You have got to know the mystery behind the formation of habits. If you can conquer this limbic friction in your life, then you can able to achieve anything in your life. Okay, limbic friction. And I have explained the limbic brain related concepts in the previous neuropsychology sessions. Go and watch that and you will get some idea. Okay, so now let's move to the next slide. And we have a different habits in our life. Okay, we have a different habits. And every habit, some habits are very strengthened, deep rooted in our life. Some of the habits are not deep rooted. And on what basis we can calculate our habit strength? There are some habits which you are much more powerful, but there are some habits you are not powerful. And what decides your habit strength is, first one is context dependency. Okay, so context dependency nothing but, I'll tell you simple example. I have some habits recently, like I always go to gym, and if I don't go to gym, I go for walk in my room. Okay, whenever if I don't go to gym, I go for walk immediately. But 1 week back, last Saturday, last Friday night, if you remembered, I went to my friend's house there because there was no power in my room, and I went to my friend's house there, and conducted 7 p.m. batch and 9 p.m. batch in that house only. After that, I slept there only. Next day morning, I wanted to come back, but I got to know my friends that there was still no power resumed, and I wanted to stay in my friend's house only. And I have the habit of waking up early, and I woke up at on the day it was Saturday. I woke up at 6 o'clock, and then immediately after 6 o'clock, I am feeling something that I want to go for walk, and I told my friend that okay, let's go for walk. So then we went for walk without thinking. And here, that habit is very powerful in me. But there are sometimes you go to gym, and then suppose you went to your relative's house, and at the time you don't follow that activity. You are in your home and you read the book today, because you are not having any distractions and disturbances. But when you move to other place, then you will not do that activity. That means you are always depending on the context in the sense the time frame and the space or the environment which you are in. So these things will decide your habit strength. irrespective of where you are on the planet, you are maintaining your habit means, then that is a very much powerful habit in you. The time, suppose you have decided that you wanted to read every day morning 7 to 8, but you happen to wake up at some other time and you did not wake up at 7 to 8. So in the evening, if you can read that, then that habit is very powerful in you. So in terms of time and the space or the region where you are in, even though you are moving from different places and even though you are doing at different times, then that gives you the strength, and that we can consider as a very powerful habit in you, and that gives you habit strength. Okay, we can consider that that habit is very powerful in you irrespective of time and space. If you are doing some habits, then you can consider yourself as the much powerful in doing that activity. And in my case, I read the book wherever I am. I read the book without any difficulty. I go for activities, either physical activities, go for gym, or going for exercises. Irrespective of where I am, I always go wherever I go. Also, at least 30 minutes I go for walk. So these are the habits are which very powerful in me, and this will decide my habit strength. And other one is limbic friction. So a lot of times when we wanted to do some activities, when you wanted to practice any coding related, lot of times you have to motivate yourself to do. But there are sometimes just using the mobile, you don't have any friction at all. So limbic friction, nothing but how much efforts you are putting to do that or to start that activity is called a limbic friction. And if it is lesser means, limbic friction is very lesser means, that habit is very powerful in you. As I told, like early morning wake up is something a lot of people struggle to, and there is so much of friction in them. But in my case, I can easily wake up at even 3 o'clock, also 2:30 also, without any much difficulty, because I've conquered that. In terms of limbic friction, my mind will immediately allows me to wake up whenever I wanted to wake up. So this is what these two aspects will decide how much strength your habit is having: context dependence and limbic friction. Limbic friction is nothing but the kind of efforts which you required to start one activity. Okay, and most of the time you have a lot of friction. What will you do? You will postpone that, and the lesser the friction is, the lesser the postponement of that activity. So think of this. And then I have explained like how long it will take and what exactly decides your habit strength. And now let's move to what exactly we wanted to achieve in our life. Is most of the time we have a goal of any habit that we want to form is to get what's called automaticity. So automaticity, nothing but without thinking, you wanted to do a lot of things. Now you use mobile without even motivating yourself, and you don't postpone also when it comes to using the mobile, and you unconsciously open your mobile and use Instagram or WhatsApp without even thinking about it. And that state we call it as automaticity. And every habit what we wanted to get in our life, we always have the goal. Initially we have to put enough consciousness in doing, but at one point of time it will become normal for you. Just simple example, if you know the learning the driving the car. Initially when you are trying to learn the driving the car, you have to put a lot of efforts and you have to put your entire consciousness in doing the changing the gear and applying the brakes and accelerator and all. But after over the period of time, when you do it repeatedly, then what will happen, you will reach to a certain level where you don't even think about whether you are changing the gears and applying the brakes. It will become automatic. So automaticity is nothing but without putting conscious effort, if you can complete the activity, then that we call it as automaticity. And there are a lot of habits in our life where if we can reach to that level, then we can put less efforts. Why we need automaticity? Nothing but this this consumes our physical and emotional energy very less when you reach to automaticity. But every time you are putting enough efforts to do the things and all, then every time you will run out of energy, you will get exhausted. Clear? So every goal we wanted to reach to the level where you can do autonomously. Okay, so automatically. So then move to the, as I said, every time what is stopping you is your limbic friction. How to get from high degree of limbic friction to automaticity means feeling difficult to do an activity to doing very casually. How we can move ourselves from high limbic friction to automaticity or automatic process. So for that, I'll be giving you the strategies which I apply in my life to make my life more fluid and more flexible in doing every activity without feeling much difficulty. How it is possible for me to change my life from high friction to low friction, where most of the things now I do very casually without much motivating myself. Okay, so how it is possible, and how, if you are looking for improving any other new habit, if you wanted to really inculcate or get one new habit in your life, what are all the steps and procedures you can follow to complete that habit without any difficulty, okay, without consuming much mental energy or motivational energy and willpower. So how you can do casually certain things, I'll tell you now. So give your full attention. What I'm going to reveal now is going to be very important for you to the rest of your life, not just for, I'm not going to talk about anything English related, for your life related, everything is going to be okay. So first and foremost, strategy. Okay. And before that strategies, we have something called how exactly habits forms. Okay. How exactly habits forms means we have a brain, and brain has its own superpower. And can anybody guess what is the brain superpower?
Storing information.
Memory.
You already know that.
IQ level.
Subconscious mindset.
Yes,
Subconscious.
neuroplasticity. Okay.
Mem-
Brain's
Plasticity.
superpower is neuroplasticity. So what is a neuroplasticity? What is the brain having? And I've already given the presentation on the neuroplasticity. Go and watch it. Okay, I already told two things I've told you to do. One is you should watch brain anatomy YouTube video, which is there in our English therapy, and neuroplasticity also I've given, but I will briefly explain what is neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is nothing but your ability to change your brain structure. Okay, brain has its property to change itself over the period of time when you do something repeatedly. So no matter what it is, if you do something repeatedly for some time, then your brain structure will change. So that property we call it as a neuroplasticity. And if you, this is the greatest property or greatest boon which was given to us, especially to human beings. And if you do something repeatedly, that becomes normal for you. You can take any example, how much difficulty it was for you to do initial days, but after doing some days, how you feel very easily that particular activity. What makes us feel very easy is this neuroplasticity. If you do something repeatedly, constantly over the period of time, your brain structure will change, and that structure change called as a neuroplasticity. Brain structure change called as a neuroplasticity. So go and watch it. I have explained there very in detailed about each and everything, how you can change your brain structure, and also I've explained. But think of, to form any habit, your brain has to change, your brain structure has to change. And as I said, brain has a property to change that we call it the neuroplasticity. If you have this neuroplasticity method, and if you can use this superpower to get any habit in your life, then you can be always succeed in your life. And a lot of times we don't know how brain changes and what exactly leads to brain changes and neuroplasticity, we don't know. That's why we randomly sometimes get some habits, and sometimes we fail to get some habits. We are sometimes knowingly or unknowingly acquire some habits, but sometimes we fail to acquire some important activities or important habits in our life. But what important is, you should know the strategies. If you are just succeeding randomly, then you don't know how to produce the success again and again in your life, because you are just getting the success randomly. But if you know the strategies, steps and methods, then you can always create the recipe for your success and happy life. And that's the problem. Most of the people today, they feel happy, and tomorrow they will feel sad, and they don't know the reason why they are happy today, and they don't know the reason why they are going to be sad tomorrow. But if you know the reason why you are happy today, and then if you can recreate the same scenario tomorrow also, then you can be happy again and again, right? But we fail to understand how our brain works, and that's why we don't know how we behave in certain times, and how we enjoy our life also. So for that, I am going to give you the understanding what exactly you can learn from this particular session, so that you can always create a great recipe for your life. No matter what habit you are going to inculcate in your life, you can always succeed in retaining that habit in your life. Most of the time people try to follow some new habits and new resolutions. I don't know how many people have started your new resolutions, and just check whether you are still continuing or not, and why sometimes we fail to have that long lasting habit in our life, I'll tell you today. Okay. So how you can build your good habits, and what are all the tools which are required for you to great habits in your life, and what tools helped me in my life to build some of the good habits which are mostly followed by the highly successful people. And you may not be asking, like, you are not become successful, right? No. I'll be becoming very soon. Why? Because I tell you, a lot of successful people maintain certain strategies in their life and certain habits in their life. And if we follow the same habits in our life, over the period of time we can be highly successful in our life also. So how we can create that good habits, and what are all the tools nothing but the strategies which successful people use in their life, and why we don't use in our life, I will tell you today. And if you can apply these strategies in your life to get any habit, then you can also be successful in your own field, in whatever the field you want to be. So let's see what are all the strategies which I'm talking about, what are all the tools I'm talking about. So the first and foremost tool is procedural memory visualization. This is the first technique which was from the neuropsychology technique. So if you understand this particular technique, which I always apply, and when I was doing the research about it, I always feel like, oh God, I'm using this technique every time, and but without knowingly. But if you know, if I don't know whether you are using this kind of technique or not, if you can use this particular technique, then you can also be highly successful in a lot of areas of your life. So procedural memory visualization, what it means is, suppose think of example, you wanted to prepare a curry. Okay, you wanted to prepare a chicken curry, and now you are sitting here. If you can think of all the steps which are involved in preparing, visualizing as if you are just sitting here and closing your eyes, or without closing also, you are moving here to your kitchen, first going to chicken shop and bringing the chicken, and then going to kitchen and cleaning the chicken, and then putting the vessel on the stove, and like all the steps which are all sequential steps which are involved in preparing. If you can visualize that before actually taking the action, then you will ended up taking that action much more easily than normally. Okay, in normal time. So think of, for me, I wanted to read the book, then what I have to do, like I have to visualize the sequential steps. I have to go from here to bring the book from another room and bring it, and then set one place, and then open the first page and started reading, starting to ending. If you can create the sequence of steps in your own mind by visualizing, if you can do that in your own mind, then you can highly you can achieve that particular activity, any activity whatever it could be. And it always happens in my life with the gym. So sometimes at 7:30, after completing the class, sometimes I don't want to go to gym because of limbic friction. So what I will do, I will just visualize that, okay, me, wearing the gym dress, and then wearing my gym bag, and wearing shoes, and going to the gym, and talking to the people in the gym. So that and all sequential steps, and coming back and having bath, entire starting to ending, if I can keep visualizing myself the activity before I perform, then I can easily perform that activity by reducing the limbic friction. So specific sequence of steps holding in mind means visualizing everything before you actually do. That helps you so much in achieving that activity. So remember this one step which I always do in my life, and you can also apply before taking any action in real time. You can visualize that action completely from starting to end, then you can apply that in your life. So it's a very simple visualization exercise you can follow in your life, then it will be automatically helpful for you in terms of getting the new habit. I'm talking about new habit or old habit also. Whenever you feel little resistance, little bit difficulty in doing, then you can follow this method which I follow in my life, which helped me so much to achieve a lot of things. Okay, so this is the first step, first strategy, first tool, where you have learned that procedural memory visualization, it helps you a lot of. Okay, and then second strategy, very important strategy, I'll tell you, lot of my habits are depending on this strategy only, I'll tell you. So habit stacking. Okay, so habit stacking nothing but applying one habit to other habit, like a sandwich method. So applying one habit to other habit, I'll tell you simple. Every day morning, after immediately after having my face wash, I'll just do 5 minutes meditation. Okay, so waking up early and doing the face wash is my main habit. It's an existing habit. What is my new habit is, immediately after face wash, I do meditation. That's my new habit. So adding some new habit to the existing habit is called as a habit stacking. Okay, or sandwich method, we call it as a James Clear method, because the James Clear is the author who written the book called Atomic Habits. Okay, James Clear is the written Atomic Habits. There it will talk about a lot of psychology behind the habit formation. This person has invented this, and he formulated. It's not previously people also used to do, but he given the name called habit stacking. So if you also, you can think of, I'll tell you what exactly I do. Simple. Every day I go to walk. Okay, every day I go to walk in the evening 5:30 to 6:30, and that's my regular existing habit. What I started doing nowadays is while coming back from the walking, I started drinking every day coconut water. That's a new habit of mine. So one habit, I'm adding new habit to that. That is called as a habit stacking. So this habit stacking is very important because every time when you are wanting to do some new habit, it's required a lot of friction. It will be there, a lot of friction will be there, and you require a lot of efforts. But if you're already having one existing habit, and if you can add some new habit, it requires very less friction. Okay, it takes very less friction for you to perform new activity. So the existing habit act as a trigger. I go to walk every day without problem, but to drink the coconut water or not, sometimes I may forget. That's why I added that particular one to that particular existing my new old habit. Then new habit becomes normal for me nowadays. And before going to walk, previously going to walk my existing habit, and before or after you can add it. Now what I started doing is I started eating one carrot every day while before going to walk for energy. So think of like this: one habit is already there, fixed. Going for walking is my existing. Before that, I added eating carrot, and after that, I started drinking a coconut water. So like that, you also start put your new habits to old habits, whatever you wanted to imply in your life or inculcate. And it's easier to connect the habit than to start from the scratch. So eating everyday carrots would be very difficult, but already I have one habit, and if I can add that to my existing habit, would be much easier. So this is what we can apply in our life also. Then your habits becomes very normal for you. You don't have to suffer that much to eat healthy food and all. Not only healthy food I'm talking about, just I'm giving you my examples. You can apply this concept to in lot of areas of your life. Clear? So this is the second strategy which I apply in my life, and that's why most of the time I'm eating healthy food by maintaining habit stacking method. And if you can use this tool, then you can also make sure that you will also have a very good habits in your life in day to day. Okay. And then next strategy is the 2-minute rule, and this rule is for making your habits very easy. Okay, why? Because as I said, every time you have a lot of limbic friction initially to do. And why? Because you always have a unnecessary expectations from you that I should read 1 hour today, I should do exercise for 30 minutes today and all. The moment when you keep very big tasks for your brain will reject that idea, because your brain don't want to suffer. And at that time, what your brain will do, don't want to do, I am not interested to do like that. But sometimes it happens with me after completing my night batch, 9 o'clock batch, and I feel like I wanted to go to sleep immediately. And I have a pending work called writing my diary. So at that time, I feel like, okay, I'll write tomorrow morning. But what I will tell to myself that, okay, you don't have to write anything, just write 2 lines and then sleep. You can tell that today is a great day, and thank you, God, for giving this day. These 2 lines you can write. And the moment when I start doing writing those two words or two sentences for 2 minutes, I ended up writing entire page. And I feel like by the end of the page, I feel okay, page is not sufficient for me to complete. So like that, 2-minute rule in every time, if you can apply, then most of the time you'll be succeeding doing a lot of much longer time, because you start with 2 minutes. At the time, you'll overcome the limbic friction, and once you overcome the limbic friction, then automatically you end up doing for longer time. But the moment itself, when you keep for 30 minutes I want to do, 1 hour I want to do, then your brain will reject before itself, and then you will not end up doing that activity. So by just keeping 2 minutes in your mind, then you can eliminate your mental resistance. Yeah, I could say limbic friction. So that will help you so much. And sometimes you wanted to do 1 hour, but you did not get 1 hour time. Instead, you can do at least 10 minutes or 5 minutes also, to maintain your consistency, so that it will become easier for you to stick with your consistency. And a lot of times when I don't want to go to gym, and at the time I tell to myself, I'll just go to gym and they'll meet my gym trainer and come back. That's what I tell to myself. And once I go to gym, and when I give shake hand to my gym trainer, and then I talk to some of my gym friends, and after that, automatically I wanted to do something, and then I do for some time and I come back. Initially, when I was telling to my mind that because of my body pains or some other reasons could be, my brain and my mind rejects that, don't go to gym today. But I tell to myself that very simple, which my mind can accept, which I can decrease the resistance, and then I can ended up going and doing for more than 1.5 hour also. So apply this tool, 2-minute rule. Whenever you are not interested to read the book, just tell to yourself, let me read one paragraph, let me read one line, and then slowly you can able to achieve. And you will, even though you wanted to read for 2 pages or 2 minutes, then you will end up reading for 1 hour also sometimes. So that initial friction is something you have to overcome. And all the strategies I'm giving you, which are all helpful for you to overcome that limbic friction. And as I said, mystery in creating the new habits is always about the limbic friction, which is the evil or the devil in our life. If you can always conquer that devil, then you can always win and succeed in your life. So think of like this and make sure you follow this rule whenever you wanted to start. Just start it and you will ended up doing it long time. Guys, please sit straight. Don't keep your neck like this and all, and don't put your hand support. Sit straight and give your full attention here. Then only my words will register in your mind. Okay, so practice. We have discussed third strategy, and now fourth strategy is identity based habits. So identity based habits are now nothing but like a labeling related. Most of the time people wanted to see themselves as some kind of person. Okay, so what exactly it talks about, instead of you saying a habit, you can try to say in that particular way. Okay, I'll tell you, instead of focusing on the action, focus on who you want to become. So simple example, you want to read the book. If you want to say that I want to read more, then you will not be ended up reading. Instead of that, you can say that I'm a reader. Okay, if you want to go to gym, then it will, I want to go to gym and all, it will not work. But you can say I'm very fitness enthusiastic. Okay, fitness enthusiastic. So when you are labeling yourself in good way, then you will end up doing certain things. It's like identity based. Some people will say that I'm very punctual. Okay, it's my identity. I'm very punctual is my identity. I'm a good communicator is my identity. I'm a good reader is my identity. So like that, and you can mention that I'm a healthy person. I eat very healthy food. So instead of like that, if you start using I want to eat healthy food and all, it's a action based. But whenever you wanted to inculcate that action in you, and you can create that as an identity, and make sure that you think in terms of identity based, who you want to become, then focus on that, and then automatically you will ended up taking that action more and more very easily. So a lot of times people use this particular identity based for negative things. What they'll say, I'm a lazy person. Okay, I'm a lazy person, I postpone my activities, like that they will use every time, and they ended up being more lazy and more sleepy and just procrastinating every time all the activities. So instead of that, you can use I am very active person. Even though you are sleepy also, still make sure you use such kind of words. Label yourself with a good identity. Then over the period of time, that becomes natural for you to become very energetic, very healthy, very active, and you can complete all your activities. And if you see me, this is what the biggest strategy which I apply in my life. Every time I say that I'm very good reader, I'm very good communicator, I'm very active person. So these are all the things I apply in my life. I ended up doing easily without any difficulty. The moment when you are identifying yourself with some good activities, with a good attitude, then you will end up doing more and more easily. But we are the people, we label ourselves with the negative things. We feel like we addicted to some things, and I'm indulging more in social media, addict person and all, like that you will end up saying negative things, and you'll be doing more and more, because that is what your identity is. You're addicted to social media is your identity. You are drinking any alcohol is your identity. You are smoking is identity. You are eating junk food is your identity. So you are trying to live your life every time in a negative way. And but if you can reverse it back, these identity based habits, then you can easily change your life much more better. I'm very healthy, I'm more beautiful, I'm very great. These things and all helps you in terms of creating your identity with a good habits, without much you feeling difficulty in doing good habits. So this is the other strategy which I apply in my life, and which really helps me so much in a lot of areas of my life. Even though sometimes if I am not reading also, still I consider myself as a great reader, and eventually I read. So like that you apply this technique, and I'm a good listener. You can like that, you can say that, even though you're not a good, I want to listen more. Instead of that, I am a good listener. Already you are a good listener, you're identifying yourself with that listening. Then you will end up listening more and more very easily without much difficulty. So that's one thing. And then next one is implementation intentions. Okay, so what exactly it is means, it talks about if and then kind of strategy. If then, so what exactly if then, I'll tell you. This particular if then strategy helps you to stick to the habit even when you faced with some obstacles. And sometimes you fail to go to some places, and you fail to do some activities, but still you can replace it with this kind of example. If I feel too tired to work out, then I will at least do 10 jumping jacks or push-ups. If I fail to go to gym, at least I go to 2 minutes walk. If I fail to read for 1 hour, at least I will read one paragraph. If then if is something your expectations, then is something you can replace that expectation with normal reality. Then you don't feel that much difficulty, and this one helps you to maintain your consistency. If you are not able to read 1 hour, then you can able to read at least one passage or paragraph. That really helps you to stick with your habits and continues to maintain your consistency. And really this is something helps me so much. Sometimes we wanted to do 100 things and we fail to do. If you fail to do something, then always you do other thing. Okay, today I forgot to, if I forgot to drink water in the morning, then I will drink in the afternoon time. So like that you are trying to replace it with at least small things, are trying to do something to compensate what you have wished for. Okay, so sometimes we miss in our day to day life, but what is the compensation which you are giving to that missing activity is something is going to decide your habits. Okay, so it really helps you so much in terms of maintaining your consistency, if then planning or implementation intentions and a strategy. And then move to environmental design. Okay, so a lot of times our habits only sustains in a good environment. It's like good seed will only sustain in a good land and in a good environment. Otherwise, if there is no sunlight and if there is no proper soil, then the good seed will die. In the same way, the good habits also will die if there is no proper environment for sustaining. So first one is change your environment to make your habits easy and unavoidable. And what exactly the good habits you can talk about? Think of like you wanted to eat healthy food, but if you open your fridge door, you always have a junk food. And how it is possible for you to maintain a good healthy habit in terms of eating? It's not possible. And remove the friction for positive habits and increase the friction for bad habits. So remember that now you really everybody want to read the book, but if I ask where is your book, means it will be in other room. But in case that if you are just creating more friction means if you want to read the book now, it's very difficult for you to move from this place to other room and to grab the book. Very big friction is there. But for positive habits, if I ask about mobile, then everybody can show me immediately without moving, also without just stretching their hand also. Why? Because they always keep their mobile with them. That's why they ended up using social media much more than reading the book, because they always keep the book in self or in bag. But when it comes to mobile, they always keep their mobile in their hand only. And that's why we ended up using our mobile again and again and again, because of easy accessibility. Because you set up your environment in a way that you always have a very bad things around you and good things always in a very specific places only. And that's why you do very less activities, good activities, frequently, and then you ended up doing more and more bad activities very frequently. Okay, so your environment shapes your behavior, and make sure your environment should be properly aligned and designed to make your good habits to sustain. And you are wanting to maintain some good habits and you are always maintaining a good friendship, friendship with the bad people, then every time when you wanted to do some good activities, then they are saying that why you want to read a book, will go for movie. So definitely there will be no possibility for you to maintain good habit, and you will end up going for movie and going for out, even though it's not required also. So make sure you maintain environment in terms of physical environment. At the same time, the friends, I would say, they contribute so much to our success and failure. And we keep on entertaining our friends without thinking about our life, and then you will pay very big price in the future. So make sure you are the person maintaining good environment, and design your environment in a proper way. Set up the things so that you don't have to spend much energy to do good activities. So I'll tell you one simple example. Don't think why every time I'm taking gym example, because that's what I tell all personal examples only. And I can tell some other example also, but I will tell what are all the day-to-day activity based my examples. My gym, which is just only 100 meters away, just my next street, within next street only. And my friend chose the particular gym which is 2 kilometers away. Okay, so to travel 100 meters, which is a very less friction required, okay, which required very less friction. And whereas my friend who travels 2 kilometers away, he required a lot of efforts and he required a lot of motivation to go. And sometimes there would be raining, there would be very cold and summer, whatever it could be, could be a lot of things will come, traffic could be there. And if you don't want to, means if you want to go to gym, he will think, okay, 2 kilometers I can't go, and then he will skip that day. But in my case, what is just 100 meters only, right? I can easily go by just walking also, I can go and I can get inside the gym. Why? Because I have reduced my friction. Reduced my friction. And most of the time people always wanted to eat healthy food and wanted to eat fruits. And what they will do, they will buy the fruits and they'll keep it in the fridge, and they don't even open the fruit section in the fridge. And then after 1 week they'll realize when they are cleaning the fridge, oh, I think I bought the fruits 1 week back and I did not eat. But when it comes to chocolates and ice creams and all, they'll keep very just in front of them only, and they ended up eating the wrong food than a healthy food. So think of like that. Set up your environment in a way that where you will be able to easily access to the good or positive things than the negative things. And yeah, a lot of times it's easy. If you want to read the book, then keep your mobile in other room, put it in silent mode, then you don't get distracted, and you will be able to give your 100% attention to the book reading, and you can complete your reading activity. But what we'll do, we'll keep our book and mobile side by side, and then we want to focus, and suddenly when one new notification comes, then we keep our book aside and we'll end up scrolling the things. So these things, if you really come out of one bad habit, then change your environment in a way that you need lot of efforts to do that activity, bad activity. So like that, put lot of passwords. If you are constantly opening your mobile, using any Instagram account and all, put some limits and set up certain environments, then you can able to succeed in your life with the good habits. Okay. And then next one is a very important, without that most of the habits will not sustain. The role of rewards in habit formation. And most of the time we don't reward ourselves for good activities, and that's why we don't do most of the time very important activities in our life. But bad activities, social media designed in a way that you immediately get the immediate rewards, and that's why you end up indulging yourself more and more in negative, all the bad activities only, because all the bad activities will give you instantaneous results most of the time. That's why we always ended up doing bad activities more frequently than the good habits or good activities. So make sure when it comes to rewards, rewards plays very crucial role in forming the habit. And your brain loves rewards. Who hate rewards? Everybody loves rewards and everybody wants gifts. And but only thing is, we don't give the gifts to our own brain. We always make sure that, okay, this is not big success in my life. Once I get a first rank, then only I'll celebrate my success and all like that. And sometimes even though you are speaking, previously you can't speak even 1 minute also, but now you are speaking 5 minutes. But a lot of people don't love that reward. They feel like, okay, one day when I speak for 2 hours like Rakesh sir, then only I'll celebrate my communication skill success like that. But I will tell you, if you are keeping the rewards very long enough, and if your brain is not at all getting any rewards immediately, then your brain will not continue that activity for a long time. It don't like it. So that's why try to reward yourself, even though you are doing small things, also try to reward yourself. Then you can ended up doing that activity much more frequently. So this is what I do in my case. Like, I always reward myself for simple things, and then I ended up doing more and more easily. So you can also follow this. Train your brain to associate the habit with a pleasure. Simple, I'll tell you. Previously I told, when it comes to habit stacking, whenever I go for walk evening, I take the coconut water. That's habit stacking which I did. But nowadays sometimes I don't want to go for walk, but I really wanted to drink coconut water because it's something very pleasurable, right, to drink. So I am visualizing that drinking coconut water in my mind, and then for the sake of drinking coconut water, I'm going out, and immediately, as I said, once you come out of your bed, then automatically friction will go, and then you will be ended up doing something which could be difficult also. You'll be doing it normally only. So nowadays, whenever I don't want to go for walk, immediately I'm visualizing myself that drinking coconut water and then going out of my bed and then automatically doing. Bed means evening 5:30 means I take a nap evening time, so that sometimes I may sleep little late for a long time also. So at the time I feel like I wanted to go out. Okay. So just train your brain to associate with the habit of pleasure, and don't always strict yourself. Suppose think that you wanted to eat biryani, then make sure that that's a could be a very big reward for your brain. And before eating biryani, just at least walk for 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers, then you can have that pleasure. And if you want to eat ice cream, then walk for 500 meters. So like that, whenever you are. But don't always associate yourself with the rewards. You should enjoy the process itself, not the rewards. Sometimes I'll tell you, going to the doing exercises or physical exercises is by it very painful process, but by the end of the exercise activity, your brain releases endorphins, feel good hormones. naturally, and that is a pleasure for you. You feel so happy. Just try it out tomorrow morning, Sunday. Wake up early morning and go for a walk or jog or do some physical activities, and then see how your brain feels, how your body feels. You feel very happy about yourself. How do you feel very happy? It's a chemical in your brain releasing, and the brain is releasing one chemical called endorphin and dopamine. Dopamine is much related to this reward based, and I already told, go and watch dopamine presentation also which I have given. So three presentation I have told so far. One is a neuroanatomy presentation, and another one is a neuroplasticity presentation, and the other one is dopamine presentation. These three are very important for you to understand entire things. So rewards are very much important in our day-to-day life, and sometimes our brain required. So when you are doing some extra hard work, but most of the time this is very bad. If you see in villages, I have seen a lot of people in my environment. People do hard work entire day, and by the end of the day they go to wine shop and they drink some alcohol, thinking that that's a pleasure for them. But that pleasure and all not good for you, okay? So make sure the hard work which you are doing, that itself will give the pleasure for you. But still, if you wanted to do, you can take something, not alcohol, but generally any chocolate or some kind of healthy food or apple or a banana you can eat, okay? That is could be the reward for your brain. Then what will happen is, when your brain is getting some pleasure, then it wants again and again, and it will enable you to do more and more. So simple. There was a one psychology study conducted on rats. So what the study was, they have taken some rats into one laboratory, and they have put inside one case. They have put in one side inside the box, and inside the box they kept one please Rileka, don't show your sorry, art forms and all. Guys, don't draw anything on the screen. So the 1 minute, let me clear it. If anybody want to draw now only, okay? Don't draw again and again. Yeah. So fine. uh, in that box they kept one rat, and the rat was trying to rotate every place and all. So what the rat, there was a one pedal, okay, one lever, okay? Just think of one button or switch, you can consider one a switch, and the rat started pressing the switch, and then the moment when the rat presses the switch, it given the food, the person given the food. And then now rat ate the food, and next time it was roaming, and again it started, okay, if I press this switch, then I'll get the food. Then again and again it started pressing and started getting more and more. So think of like this, our brain loves pleasure or the rewards, and your brain itself will release the pleasure by the hard work. But sometimes if you really wanted the pleasure, sometimes appreciate yourself by buying some good dress for you, if you do some hard work, and buy one book for you as a gift. So like that, gift yourself simple things, then your brain loves that and it will enable you. And sometimes if nobody is giving any gift to me as a book, I will only buy and I'll keep the status as somebody gifted to me, like that. So like that, I train my brain that okay, I received one gift for my hard work, like that. So you can also apply that techniques. I'm very good manipulator in terms of manipulating my brain, because I've been explaining all these strategies, right? I apply these strategies on my brain. That's why only I'm able to do these things and all. Otherwise it's not possible for me. And that's why I told you, like, I will tell all my secrets whatever I follow in my life, and if you follow, then you can also succeed in your life in terms of anything, okay? Yeah. And these are the strategies. 1 minute. Guys, I will one day keep one session to draw the things, okay? On that day you can draw everything whatever you want. Please don't draw again and again. Don't behave like a child, okay? Mm, Sorry. And next one is a very important. This is where I'll give you most of your you will get a solution for your most of the problems. Very important. Listen now. So far one side, all the strategies, this one strategy is going to be one side. And if you can understand this one strategy, you can succeed in your life. So phase based, 1 minute. Phase based habit plan, what it talks about is, it is related to the time, okay? It is related to the time. So if you can divide, our day is filled with entire hour, one day is filled with 24 hours, and divide 24 hours into three equal parts: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So phase 1 is nothing but 0 to 8 hours, first 0 to 8 hours, and then 9 to 15 hours or 14 to 15 hours. And then phase 3 is 16 to 24 hours. What is phase 1? What is phase 2? What is phase 3? How we can consider our 0 to 8 and all. So the moment when you wake up, suppose I woke up at 5 o'clock, and from 5 o'clock plus 8 hours, add 8 hours, and probably it will be how much? At what time we can consider that? Phase 1 till
1 o'clock.
morning 5 o'clock to
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
1
o'clock or
o'clock.
4 o'clock.
2 o'clock? 4 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1
1
o'clock,
o'clock.
sir.
1
1
o'clock.
o'clock. Only. Okay, then most of the people are saying 1, then I'll think it's the right answer only. Okay. Yeah. Suppose think of you wake up at 5 o'clock till your 1 o'clock, that is your phase 1. Suppose example, you can add one place, 30 minutes before, 30 minutes later, it's okay. So think of 1 hour. That first morning 5 o'clock to afternoon 1 o'clock is your phase 1. So what exactly this phase 1 is? The moment when you wake up, your brain, I'm talking about neuroscience now. Think of your brain and body is full of chemicals, and the reason why you are happy, there is one chemical is there in your brain. Why you are motivated, there is one more chemical is there. Why you are lazy, there is one more chemical released. Every time whatever you exhibit, the feelings and emotions and behaviors are associated with the chemicals in your brain. Okay, so the moment when you wake up, there are certain kind of chemicals are released in your body and brain, and that chemicals most probably adrenaline, okay, adrenaline and dopamine. These are the very big chemicals which will releases by our brain in the morning time. Means first 8 hours in our body, these chemicals will be very higher level. And as the days goes in from 1 to next 3, 4, 5, these chemicals will decrease. The intensity of those chemicals are the level of chemicals will go down, and these dopamine and endorphins and all these things and all will be very much useful for us to accomplish some task in our day-to-day life. And if you watch dopamine presentation, you'll get to know a lot of things with that. So dopamine is a energy chemical, okay, very much energy chemical, and it gives you a lot of energy for you to accomplish the task. But we are the great people. What we will do is, the moment when we wake up, first to 2 3 hours we lie in the bed and then continues to scroll the things and all, we waste our time. And then after that we go out and we indulge in unnecessary talkings and all normal things, and then by the end of the afternoon we feel very less energy, and then we wanted to learn programming, we wanted to learn new skill, we wanted to learn new language and all. Your brain will not support, and then what will you do? You will just simply, okay, today I will not do, tomorrow I will do. Why? Because there is no particular energy, or there is no particular chemical which is required for you to take the action. You already consumed on unnecessary things. Now you are expecting you to do some of the great things, then it will not happen. That's why most of the people are lazy people. But if you see me, you never feel me and you never see me lazy. Why? Because I know these techniques and all, I apply very much easily in my life. That's why it's very easy for me to manipulate my energy levels and all. So think of first quarter, 1/3 of your day is much powerful day where you can create your life. What are all the things which are, and coming to these are the habit formations and all. Whatever the new habit, whichever the habit which you feel very difficult, try to put that habit in your morning 8 hours only, first 8 hours only. Why? Because there are chemicals in your brain, they are actually responsible for taking the action. If the chemical is not there, how much you are motivated, how much inside you are feeling to do, but still you will not do that. Your brain and body will not support you. That's the reason, try to do any activity, whatever the activity. Suppose a lot of people nowadays wanting to practice aptitude, very difficult activity, okay, aptitude skills. If you are really planning to, then plan accordingly in the morning only. Try to practice that 1 hour, 2 hours in the morning itself. Think of whatever the biggest task which have very big limbic friction, try to do that in the morning time, because you have a very high motivation in the morning time. Okay, so there could be a lot of people are doing night shifts and all. I'll tell you later part what exactly you can do and all, but generally I am considering that you are a day shift person, and then I'm telling you these things. But day shift also, generally those people will be doing work and all. I'm telling you, most of your work should be accomplished between morning 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock only. When I was working as a software engineer in my previous company, every time I used to complete my 70% of work in morning 9 o'clock to 1 or 2 o'clock only. Before my lunch only, I will try to complete my 70% of work, because in the rest of the day I don't feel that much great in terms of doing the work. Even if I do also, very less productivity will be there. That's why I don't want to do such kind of work. I will try to complete the big task in the morning, and the remaining task whichever doesn't require my efforts that much, I will do later part. Suppose now you don't feel that much difficulty in reading the book, don't read in the morning, try to read in the evening. But you are feeling lot of difficulty in learning the programming language, try to learn that in the morning. Or if you are feeling lot of difficulty in doing the technical activities, try to put those activities in the morning time. That's how you should schedule your day. Okay, first 0 to 8 hours, your brain and body filled with so many good, very great chemicals, and that chemicals, as you go through your day, will comes to some less level. And at the time, if you want to do also, you will not be able to. That's why try to do. And what exactly the activity which required more motivation, the activity which required more efforts, try to do those things in the morning time itself. Then you will be set up your entire day in a proper way. Okay, and coming to the phase two involves with like generally evening activities and all. The phase two, you should do always the activities which are all doesn't require much efforts for you. Now most of the people love to do speaking activity, they don't feel much difficulty. So you can do that kind of activities what doesn't take much efforts from you, what doesn't create a lot of limbic friction for you. Try to do that activities in a second one by third, okay, two by third of the quarter, means second quadrant. So I would say phase two. Phase two, by the end, mostly you will be come to the evening to night time, night 9, 10 o'clock like that. So guys, remember the moment when you are heading towards end of the phase two, try to decrease the activities. Okay, try to decrease the activities and don't take any coffee, tea, and don't take any heavy meals, because you are setting up your body to get to the sleep mode. And if you are drinking a coffee and drinking a cigarette and smoking a cigarette and all the other things whatever is not good for you, then it is very difficult for you to get the proper sleep. Even if you get the sleep also, you don't get a quality sleep. So try to avoid the gadgets and mobile things and all by the end of the phase two only. But a lot of people are joining nowadays 9 to 10 batch. It's okay. But as I said, the activity which required more friction, okay, the activity which you feel more friction, don't do that things in a phase two. Try to do in the morning only. Okay. And then coming to phase three is nothing but sleeping. Okay. Or taking the rest night time. And my sincere request, sleep between around 10 to 11 in between 10 to 11:30, and then wake up early so that it will be easy for you to, because your body and brain is having one rhythm called circadian rhythm, okay, biological clock. And this circadian rhythm is connected with the sun and the moon. Okay, sun and the moon. So think of, there is a river. Think of, there is a river, and the river is having water. The water is going from north to east direction, okay, north to south. Okay, the water is going from north to south. If you want to swim in the river, what is the best approach? You should also travel in the north to south direction only. Okay, when you are traveling in the water from north to south direction, you require less efforts for you to swim. Okay, your energy will be less consumed. But you are planning to go from south to north in that opposite direction, you have to spend more energy. And that's why most of the people ended up spending more and more energy, and they don't complete the activities whatever they want to complete, because their approach itself is wrong, their direction itself is wrong. How much they wanting to do also, still they will not be able to do it. Why? Because you are going in the wrong direction. So always think that when you are going in the flow, it will be easy for you. And what I'm talking about, this reverse direction and all, your biological clock has a lot of things to do with the sun and moon. And if you are not following that sun and moon approach, then you will be spending a lot of your energy to do these activities. So think like that. And then the night is designed for sleep, and you should sleep, and morning is designed for your work, you should work. But if you are doing vice versa, for some months to years, it's okay, but in the long run it will have huge impact on your health, because you are going in the opposite direction. You are not non, what we call people who work in night time, nocturnal or what? Nocturnals only, right?
Nocturnal.
Nocturnal only. The people who sleep night time and work, what we call them?
Diurnal.
Diurnal. Okay, diurnal versus nocturnal. So nocturnals are bats and all comes under that category. And if you are bat and all, you can also sleep daytime and then work in a night time. But generally human beings are diurnal. Okay, so we are designed for sleeping night time and doing work in daytime. That's how our entire evolution has been. But we are all making nowadays everything light up and keeping lights and all, creating night also day like that. But your body and brain is not designed such a way. In the long run, it will have huge impact. And my respect to a lot of night shift people. Try to improve your skills and try to get the day shift jobs only. Don't stick to the night shift jobs. So please be careful with your health also. Okay, so think of these three phases are very important. And a lot of times people are saying, sir, I'm not able to do this activity and all. Whatever the activity which you are feeling difficulty in doing, try to complete that in a phase one only. And whatever the activity which you are able to do very easily without much worry and all, try to do in the phase two. And in phase three, don't do anything, just sleep. Mm. Don't watch any web series and Netflix and night time and all, not good for you. Uh, don't talk also night time. Try to sleep as early as possible so that you will have a lot of energy. As I said in dopamine presentation, night time the sleep will produce the chemicals. If your night itself is not at all having proper sleep, then next day morning you will not, your brain will not produce the chemicals which are required for you to take the action in the morning time. So that's why try to sleep early and sleep properly. Then next day morning you will feel fresh and able to complete all the tasks whatever designed. And you are not sleeping properly and wanting to do some of the great things in phase one, your brain is not having the chemicals which are required because you have not given enough time for your brain. It will not produce the chemicals which are required for you. So make sure you try to do like that, then you will see much changes. And this is what the neurochemistry, as I said, try to watch these three presentations, then you will get a lot of understanding about this phase. And very important, and if you can schedule your day and life in such a way, then you can able to complete very easily. So for me, video editing was very difficult for me and I always postpone that. And nowadays what I started doing is I started editing my videos and all after 12:30 batch and all, okay, at 1:30. But sometimes I have to prepare my lunch also, but after immediately lunch I am trying to spend at least 1 hour like that, because that lies in my 0 to 8 hours only. But when I'm trying to edit and all evening time, I'm not getting that much energy and interest. But remember one important thing here. Okay, sorry. Very important concept is habit flexibility. You should conquer the time. Okay, as I said, what makes your habit strengthened? I am talking all this phase one, phase two, phase three is all applicable to the new habits. Once the habit is formed, then you can able to do any activity at any time. Now reading, I don't read in the morning or any time I can read, even night also. If I wanted to read at 2 o'clock also in the night, I can read. Why? Because I conquered that and now that habit is very flexible in me. So whenever the habit is flexible, then you can decide, you can put that flexible habit in a phase two. You don't have to do it in a phase one. But the activities or habits which require a lot of efforts from you, then you should always prioritize in the morning itself. Okay. So the context or the circumstance independent. Whatever the habits, there is no circumstance. There is wherever you go, you are not in your home also. When you go to a relative's house also, if you are able to read, then that habit becomes now flexible in you. Simple, like using mobile is a flexible. Most of the people, they don't even think place, time and all. Anytime they can do that one activity very easily. Why? Because that become now flexible. So like that, if you can make a lot of good habits like that flexible, then you can highly succeed in your life. Okay. And no time constraint. Most of the time people keep that, okay, morning if I can read 1 hour, I can read. Otherwise, I can't read in the evening time and all. That and all will not work generally. If you are doing regularly for long time one habit, then that habit becomes normal for you. Then there is no time constraint also. You can do either in the morning, evening, or night also. There will be no much difficulty for you to do that activity. So that is called no constraint. And no limbic friction. As I said, you can able to do that immediately without much motivation and all. You don't need motivation to do that. And at the end, what I want to tell you is that the phase one, phase two, phase three concept, which I explained, right? When you do for long period of time, then you will reach to this level where now you don't think about time. You don't think about any particular, constraints. You will be able to do that. And now you can make sure that you can say that I'm having mastery over that particular habit. Okay. So like that, you can consider yourself. And here I would like to explain one important concept here. So hippocampus is a one area in the brain. Okay, one area in the brain. And what this hippocampus will do is, this hippocampus is responsible for the memory. Okay, memory. What it will do, it will try to remember the things. Suppose you are now learning one programming language or English language. So this area will remember the sentences, words, and all. This area will be remembering lot of things, whatever you do in your day-to-day time. Hippocampus is responsible for memory. Okay, remembering the things. So now whenever you are learning something new, all the information is stored in the hippocampus region. Think of now we are learning English language, so that all the words and sentences are stored in this particular area. And when you do repeatedly, that habit is formed. The habit is formed in the hippocampus with the memory. And once you do repeatedly, what it will do, this is a very small area. This is not, no, you can't remember everything. What it will do, it will send the learning language. Suppose doing that one activity, suppose you are cooking. For the first time you are learning cooking. And when you do repeatedly cooking habit and you have mastered in the cooking, then what it will do is it will send the cooking related all the knowledge to other area of your brain. Okay, other area of your brain. Because this brain is always about forming the new habit. Maintaining the habit will be taken care in the other area, because now this area is for other new habits, not for old habits. Already habit is fixed, very deep rooted. And when the habit is deep rooted, then it will not store in that, it will transfer from this place to other place. Think of it's like a temporary storage. It only work for the initial days to create that habit in you. Once the habit is formed, then the activity of that habit will be moved to other area. Now other area will be working, and this again hippocampus will be working on new habits and for new activities and all. So think like that, and the more you do, the better your habit will be, and the better you will be performing. So like that you understand these things. 1 minute. Yeah, hippocampus is the responsible for that particular part. And there are, I'll tell you, habit formation required three main areas called, sorry, basal ganglia. Okay, basal ganglia and prefrontal cortex and dopamine rewarding system. So if you watch my previous presentations, you will get to know where the prefrontal cortex is, and I'll draw here the basal ganglia. I want to keep it, but I don't want to make it more. This is the area where we call the basal ganglia, and this is the area which is responsible for the habit formation. Okay, habits, whatever the habit is nothing but the movement and taking action. All the actions are takes place initially in this area only. Okay, and then once the habit is formed, then that habit will be moved to other areas of your brain. And hippocampus is the memory. Memory is nothing but sequence of steps you are remembering, and some of the logics you remember and all comes under hippocampus. Okay, yeah. Now understand this loop. Okay, the habit loop when it comes to bad habits. So bad habits nothing but, I'll tell you, simple habits. Okay, now there is a cue is nothing but the kind of one notification. Okay, one notification. And the cue is nothing but the trigger. We call that as a cue, as a trigger. Trigger is in the sense, suppose there is a notification in your mobile, that is a trigger, that is a cue. And that notification is from the Zomato, if you have a Zomato app. So that what it will do, it shows one beautiful biryani, delicious food. That trigger is there in your brain now. And what will happen is cravings will come in your brain. Okay, oh, I want to eat that delicious biryani, I want to eat that chocolate or ice cream and all like that. Okay, that is a craving. Second part is a craving. And what will happen, you wanted to get that pleasure. And what will you do, the response, that action, you will order, or either you go out and bring that. And then reward, the moment when you eat the ice cream or biryani, then you will get a reward, means you will feel so happy and pleasure. Think of one more example. Now you have posted one Instagram post, and then suddenly you saw that cue, the trigger, someone liked your photo. Then what will happen, you immediately crave for who that person liked my photo. And then what will you do, you will crave for knowing who that person is. And then immediately you will open Instagram and see who that person is. And then you will get to know, okay, somebody liked your photo, you'll feel very happy and pleasurable. So like that, this is how your negative or bad habits will be formed. Okay, trigger. Trigger is nothing but notifications. Most of your distractions comes from the notifications only, guys. So please make sure, put your notifications turn off, and try to keep the things, lot of things away. And this also happens, suppose you are started scrolling Instagram, then you found one food related, okay, or any unwanted things, then automatically your brain want that. Okay, your brain wants that, and you will take the action and then take the, get the reward. Then what will happen, this create as a loop. It's like a feedback loop. And next time also your brain think that, okay, if I want craving, then this person last time did the action, and next time onwards it will create more and more cravings. And then you will end up doing more and more badly. And as I said, when you do something repeatedly, your brain will change. And initially whatever it required more efforts for you to do, it will become now effortless. Now you are not even thinking also when it comes to opening Instagram and ordering something, food, junk food and all. Till that level you will reach. So this is the loop for your unwanted habits. Unwanted habits. And think of what is the biggest culprit here is a cue. Cue nothing but the trigger point. And what you should do now for coming to the desired habit or better habit, think of first and again it's a cue only. Whenever you are getting bored and all, then try to replace with that good cravings. Okay, so go for walk and listen to audiobook, or making sure that you try to take the positive action, and then you will get a reward from the taking the positive action. Go for walk. Going for walk also gives the rewards. Okay, doing some exercise also give the results. Reading a book also gives the rewards. But we unnecessarily take the wrong habits, and then we suffer a lot in terms of that. So cue, craving, response, reward. This is the habit cycle. And make sure the biggest culprit here is the cue. And if your cues are positive, then you will end up doing the good things. If your cues are wrong, then you will end up doing the negative things. That's the only difference. So make sure, set up some timetable for reading the book, and set up some alarm for reading and waking up early. These are all the cues which will trigger the action and behavior in you. Then you will end up taking the good action and good, then that will give you the good rewards. So this is what I want to tell you about the positive habits, negative habits, and cue, cravings, response, reward. And this is how habits are formed by using this particular loop mechanism. Okay. And final takeaway to build any good habit is, make it obvious. Make it obvious, nothing but these four are represent these four only. Okay, cue nothing but that should be visible to us. Okay, whatever we want to follow, that should be visible to us. And make it easy. So you should not have much resistance to you to do that particular activity. It should be very easy in achieving good activities. So make it easy. Make it easy, nothing but keep it 10 minutes, 5 minutes and all. And make it attractive. And if you are every time saying I hate reading and all, then you will never read the book. So make it attractive means try to tell a lot of positive stories to about the good habit, then you will end up doing it in a better way. And make it satisfying. And by the end of the particular good habit, you should tell to yourself, oh, I have done very good activity today and I'm feeling so happy, like that. Then your inner self feels so happy in terms of doing that. Then it will ask you again and again do the same thing. So make it obvious means that there should be cues, or in terms of triggers should be there around you to take the action. And make it easy when it comes to doing the activity, that should be very easy. And make it more attractive in terms of doing. And sometimes you may lose the interest because of it, it loses its attractiveness. But create more and more attractiveness by adding some new stories to that activity. You will end up doing more and more, and then make it satisfying. Then you will be able to achieve it. Okay. And last and foremost thing is, I think I've already explained this in the previous slides, but I want to explain it again. So any skill you want to master, there are 4 steps which involved in any skill. So the first and foremost step is unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence is nothing but, suppose now I want to drive helicopter. Okay. And I don't know anything about whether it helicopter have a steering or clutch or gear. I don't know anything. So unconscious, I am not aware of, I don't know how to do. Incompetent nothing but I can't do anything. Even somebody put me in an aeroplane also, or helicopter also, I don't know what to do also. So that means you don't know anything about it. Unconscious incompetence, you don't know what to do, how to do, and you don't know what to do, and these things also, where to do also. So that's the first and foremost thing is. And second one is conscious incompetence. Now I watched, suppose think of driving the car. Before getting inside the car, I don't know anything. But after inside the car, when my friend was driving, I can see what is the clutch and what is the steering and brake and all. Now I know how car is working, means how car is moving. By moving what gear and all, shifting the gears, we can increase the speed and all. I know everything. But still I'm incompetent. I can't drive the car because I'm not actually doing that particular habit. Okay. But then third step is conscious competence. That's where learning the skill. Okay, that's where learning the new habit. I started driving the car now. Okay, by taking the driving school classes. And now that person is telling me when to change the gear, when to apply the brake and all. At that time I should put more efforts in doing that particular activity. If you see, any time when you are doing for the first time, you get sweat. When I'm driving for the first time car, I'm getting a lot of sweat and shivering and all. Now also, if I ask you to speak in front of this many people, then you may get shivering and you may get sweat and all. So you are in the third category now, in the third stage. If you repeatedly do that habit again and again and again, suppose speaking English is your, now you might, lot of people are in the third category now. Okay, conscious competence. For you to speak in English require a lot of efforts, and you feel sweat, and after some time you don't even get the words also to speak after 10 minutes and all. So how you can move yourself to the next level is, by repeatedly practicing that one habit, means speaking regularly, that helps you to reach to the level called unconscious competence. Unconscious competence means now I'm not even thinking while speaking. Okay, I'm continuously speaking from past almost 1 hour, and now I am in the stage 4, and that is what helps you to reach to the top level in any field. So every field, in the first time we are dumb, stage 1 we are dumbest people, and second field we know what to do but we don't know how to do. We don't know what to do but we don't know how to do. In a stage 3 we know how to do and what to do, but we are doing so much with full of energy and full of attention. And once you spend more time in this third category, third stage, then you will reach to the fourth stage. That means you become the master in that particular field, in that skill, and you become the pioneer in that field. But most of the people, when they feel difficulty in doing in the third stage only, they will, they will give up, and they will never reach to the stage 4, and that's where your problem comes. So please understand it. This is the process involves in every skill, in every habit, and once you started doing it over the period of time, then only will be. Nowadays a lot of people complains me, sir, I am not understanding a listening activity, how much I am listening, still I am not able to do it for long enough. Then you will reach the fourth stage where you can easily understand without putting much efforts also. So this is what the presentation is about, the habits, science behind the habit formation, and what exactly the strategies which I apply in my life to reach to this level. And if you can follow the same, then you can also get succeed in your life in terms of maintaining the habits. So follow these strategies, follow these methods. No matter who you are, you can succeed in your life, and it requires some self-discipline and willpower in terms of doing it. But as I said, what is stopping you is your limbic friction. And I also mentioned the strategies how you can overcome your limbic friction. Also, if you can start doing it slowly over the period of time, then you can easily do that activity and habit, and you can enjoy the habit without any much difficulty. Clear? So this is what the presentation is about today. Thank you, guys. Those of you who have not attended to my previous psychology sessions, tomorrow till before next week, okay, because next week presentation is going to be very different. So for that, I want you to go through the brain anatomy presentation and dopamine presentation and neuroplasticity presentation. These three are very important for you, as whatever I'm going to share in the future sessions and all, these basics needed. And in this presentation, I should have included dopamine and neuroplasticity and brain related things. But if I include, then not even 1 hour, 2, 3 hours also not sufficient for me. Every presentation, that presentation more than 1 hour presentations. So if I include all the concepts here, then it will be very difficult for me to complete this topic. So that's the reason it's your homework as a watching activity for next 1 week. Try to complete all the watching activities, the 3 presentations which I have given, and then after watching, comment under the video. Okay, whatever your feedback, just write your feedback under the video, what you learned and how you felt about the presentation and what you learned, all these things try to summarize. I will read your comment and reply to you. That's your feedback. Okay, I know you write in notebook and all, so if you write in notebook, it will be good only, but I've spent a lot of my energy and time and all, so I also want some reward, right? If you post comment, then that will reach to more people in terms of social media community. That is mutual benefit. You get benefit, I get benefited. Okay. So yeah, that's all from my end, guys, for today. And if you have any questions, if you want to share anything, you can share.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, all. Thank you, sir, for conducting psychology sessions. We are missing so many days on it. We love any type of activity, any type of classes also, but I'm missing so many days on psychology sessions. Thank you, sir, for conducting psychology session. A day before yesterday, I said for my presentation, I said the prefrontal cortex and amygdala, sir. At the time, I have seen the hippocampus. If SAR said means about the hippocampus, it would be good, no? Like that, I think, sir, day before yesterday only. You come up with the hippocampus means at the time I felt very happy about the presentation, and I learned the new things to do activities also, sir. When I wanted to do the write the feedback, sir, at the time I don't want to do daily, but you shared about the 2 minutes technique. No? I wanted to implement in my life, and one more is habit stacking also, sir. I learned newly definitely I wanted to implement in my life, sir. Thank you so much for conducting this kind of sessions. Thank you.
Superb. Thank you. Yeah, guys, before giving any other feedbacks, I want you to participate